Welcome to the greatest show on earth. It's the English Premier League on Fox Sports World, America's soccer channel. We are at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. It is Derby Day. United versus City, number 129 in the league. I'm your host, Nick Webster. So glad you can join us as we go straight to the lineups for United. Tim Howard in goal, Gary Neville, Ferdinand, O'Shea, Silvestri. Midfield, Cleberson, Phil Neville, Keane, Ryan Giggs, and up top, Paul Scholes is back, finally shrugged off the groin problems, and he's joined by Ruud van Nistelrooy, simply the deadliest striker on the planet. 11 Premiership goals this season, 15 in total. Gary Neville will be hoping to make amends for his little howler last year in this corresponding fixture. For City, Seaman back after a rib injury, Son Tamel Dundistan, Wright Phillips, Barton, McManaman, Sinclair, and up front, Nicolas Anelka. And the Toxteth Terror, Robbie Fowler. Only one Premiership goal though for Fowler this season. When is the young man going to get it going again like he used to for Liverpool? And that's been the problem for City. Lack of goals. They failed to score in 5 of their last 6 fixtures. 29 years since they last won at Old Trafford. And with Kevin Keegan, you know he loves his teams to play attacking football. And amazingly, they're not scoring at the moment. What is going wrong, Kevin? We are at Old Trafford, bragging rights of the city of Manchester up for grabs. It's Ferguson versus Keegan. We know all about their mind games over the years, how Kevin Keegan would love to pull one over on the Scottish master, but it's going to be tough. United possess the best attack in the Premiership, 29 goals in 15 games, and City, they actually sit bottom of the current form in the Premiership. They've got into a sort of tailspin freefall out of the UEFA Cup, out of the Carling Cup. They've got to give their fans something to cheer about. Let's see if they can. We'll join Alan Parry.
4 draws and 6 defeats. Ferdinand, whose immediate future is likely to be decided in the next 7 days. He's in trouble, of course, with the FA for missing a drugs test. Gary Neville hustled out of it by Robbie Fowler. And now Trevor Sinclair, who was always a Manchester City fan as a youngster, even though he had to go to London to start his professional career. Played for West Ham at the highest level, of course. The throw-in over the head of Anelka and through to the excellent Tim Howard, who started every Premier League game since joining Manchester United as their goalkeeper in place of Fabien Barthez, who's still here. Huge kick by Howard over Van Nistelrooy's head. Through to Neville, and now Cleberson. The Brazilian has been in sparkling form in his last few games, really finding his feet now in the English Premier League. Had a couple of months out with a dislocated shoulder that he suffered in the game at Southampton. Foul there by Phil Neville. Referee has waved play on. A rather nervy ball back by Ferdinand, didn't help out his keeper. Robbie Fowler, as a former Liverpool player, of course, can be guaranteed an even more hostile reception than any of the other City men here today. Dunn's header away. He's a former Everton man, so he won't be that much more popular either. City have played over 7 hours of football without scoring before they finally broke that duck at Tottenham in a Carling Cup tie. But David Seaman's colleagues have now failed to score in 6 of their last 9 league and cup games. And he, by the way, is carrying an injury. Former England international has a ribs problem. It forced him off in the match at Everton last week. But he has come through a fitness test to take his place here today. Phil Neville onto John O'Shea. It's the same back 4 for United that played here against Stuttgart in midweek. Right, Phillips' clearance wasn't the best. Giggs. Now back to Phil Neville, keeping Nicky Butt out in that midfield role. Sylvester has given it away to McManaman. Nicolas Anelka for Manchester City. He's got real pace, but so has O'Shea. He claims it should have been a throw to United. Wes Brown almost fit again, incidentally, to challenge for a place in that back four for Manchester United. There's Paul Scholes, helped on by Keane, too far for Giggs. Roy Keane has a checkered record, of course, in these Manchester derby matches. Back by Sylvester Howard. McManaman's header. One back by Emerson, now Keane. He was out a whole year after suffering a serious knee injury against Manchester City in the now infamous incident with Alfie Haaland that led to him, by his own admission, taking retribution against the City man, who hasn't played since and whose career has since come to an end. Header away by Sylvester. Keane. Giggs found a way out through Paul Scholes. Cleverson. Good football here from the champions, who've won 11 of their 15 Premier League games so far. Just one draw here against Arsenal and 3 defeats for United. Southampton away, that was back in August. A recent 3-1 setback here at Old Trafford against Fulham. And then, of course, a couple of weeks ago when they went to one of their rivals for the title, Chelsea, and lost 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Good ball through to Van Nistelrooy, just behind Scholes. Cleverson. Fine ball for Keane. Sinclair back defending for Manchester City, and Keane wouldn't let him have an easy way out. Sloppy defending here by Manchester City. Just as well Sinclair was back. They're still missing Alain Goma, of course, at the moment. Manchester City is an important player for them at the back. Sinclair again. Clearance by Gary Neville. And Van Nistelrooy will keep chasing this. Dunn had to intervene. Sinclair again. Looking to use the pace of Anelka, who's deceived himself with that touch. Thumbs up for the through ball. And people have been saying he's having a poor season, Anelka, but he's only 4 goals short of his total for the whole of last season, when he was City's top scorer with 14. However, he hasn't been on target in any of his last 6 games, Anelka. Scholes for Manchester United, who beat Aston Villa here last week, 4-0. 2 late goals from Forlan, who came off the subs bench, and that's where he's sitting again today. Keane's header down by Cleverson to the Irishman, playing for the handball from the City fans, as Gary Neville swings it in, and it's the first goal for United. Paul Scholes is back, and he's back on the score sheet. Just 7 minutes gone, and they're already celebrating here. That's exactly what Manchester United have been missing. Paul Scholes, who normally gets into double figures for goals every season, has been out for a long time now, came back as a substitute against Aston Villa, started against Stuttgart, and now he's back in his familiar role as a goal scorer. Excellent Manchester United build-up, and the usual impeccable finish from Paul Scholes. That was where City claimed Cleverson had used his arm to control the ball. Mr. Halsey saw nothing wrong. Well, that's what England have also been missing. It's a long time, of course, since Paul Scholes was on target for his country in an international match. But many people rate him one of, if not the best player in his position in the country. Mr. Halsey under the spotlight for that decision. Certainly there was a big appeal from the City fans behind that goal, and 1 or 2 of their players as well. Manchester City's job has just become even harder. Now they have to find a goal from somewhere if they're to avoid the possibility of yet another defeat here. They've lost 10 of their last 18 games against Manchester United. As I mentioned before the kick-off, they have drawn the last two here at Old Trafford, both 1-1. McManaman brought down. City haven't scored a goal in 5 of their last 6 games. It represents the worst run since Kevin Keegan took over. They've taken just 4 out of the last 18 points available. And Fowler has been dispossessed with ease. He'll get no mercy from the United fans. And no mercy from his manager if he doesn't do the business either. Kevin Keegan, another, of course, with strong Liverpool connections, which makes victory over Manchester City even more satisfying for United fans these days. But something they didn't manage last season, with City taking 4 points from the 2 encounters. O'Shea, it's a good ball. Giggs with a back heeler. Straight to Wright Phillips in the end. City can't get going here. Roy Keane, prominent in the build-up to the goal. Gary Neville. Well, we mentioned this statistic a week ago when United played Villa here. They're unbeaten in their last 49 Premier League games in which they've scored the first goal, Manchester United. 45 wins and 4 draws. It's 2 years since a team came from behind to beat Manchester United, and that team was Arsenal. A rather worrying statistic from Manchester City's point of view. Already a goal down here with only 10 minutes on the clock. Scholes, the goal scorer. Never going to get wrong this time. He was actually blamed for 2 of City's goals in the 3-1 defeat at Main Road last season. It was one of his personal nightmares in his career. City can't get hold of the ball here. Giggs for United. Cultured little ball to John O'Shea. Sylvester, Giggs, Phil Neville, now Keane. Flowing football again from the champions here. Going for win number 50 over Manchester City in the league. And Scholes has given them the perfect platform to achieve it. Sun Jihai for Manchester City. Now Steve McManaman, the Blues underline his Merseyside connections. This is Distant. He skipped over Gary Neville's challenge. Away by O'Shea. Scholes turning it away. McManaman. This is Joey Barton. Looking for Wright Phillips. And United have it back with Phil Neville and now Scholes. This lovely one-touch football is so pleasing on the eye and so effective. Roy Keane. Sylvester ball, not the best, straight to Dunn. Now Sun Jihai. Joey Barton, another one who was brought up on Merseyside. He was a big Everton fan as a kid. O'Shea. And now Van Nistelrooy, for once, is usually instant control, lets him down. Somme's clearance to Sun Ji-hai. And City at last beginning to settle a little bit here. There's Distin, the Frenchman, in his second season as a Manchester City. Previous experience in the Premier League with Newcastle, of course. Away by Dunn. Barton. And that's sloppy. And you certainly can't afford to give the ball back to Manchester United too often. Incidentally, there's one other early kick-off in the English Premier League today. And it's currently Leicester City 0, Birmingham City 1. The Irish international Clinton Morrison has scored for Birmingham, who were 9th at the start of play. Leicester down in 15th place. Sinclair spending most of his time defending here in the opening quarter of an hour, as City are on the rack. Gary Neville's cross route, Van Nistelrooy claimed the handball against Sun Ji-hai. Well, that would have been harsh, since they didn't get the benefit of the referee's decision on the move that led to United's goal. Sinclair, Wright Phillips, easily cleared. Gonna take a little more care with that final ball, City. No, hit him in the midriff without doubt. Scholes was just about the only one who appealed on the United side. Rather more straightforward decision for the referee. Manchester City finished 9th last season. It was their highest place for 10 years. And in fact, it was the first time in 6 seasons that they hadn't been involved in either promotion or relegation. It really has been a roller coaster ride emotionally for Manchester City fans in recent times. But it goes without saying, this is the one game they would love to win. O'Shea for United, they lead. Clearance by Distin has gone to his own man Sinclair. Now McManaman for Manchester City. Back in the Premiership after 4 years in Spanish football, where he won 2 league championships and 2 European Cups with Real Madrid. Anelka doing well here against Sylvestre, who nonetheless won back the ball briefly. And it goes to Fowler, and away by Ferdinand. Difficult one for Sylvestre, but he did well. Dunn. Barton, this is better for Manchester City. They need this kind of concerted possession. Sinclair. It was a poor ball anyway, as he was trying to play it forward. And Cleverson won it. And has done well here. Van Nistelrooy. Lay-off by Keane. Ryan Giggs. Well, if this is Manchester United in 3rd gear, the rest of the Premier League had better be warned, because once they hit top gear, after the New Year celebrations are over, they're going to take some stopping, I think. And it goes to Van Nistelrooy, over his head and away by Sylvain Distin, but they just forward United. Ball in by Keane. Cleverson's there, Van Nistelrooy's there, and now Ryan Giggs! Well, if that had fallen to him on his left foot, I would predict that this would have been reading Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0. His right is his weakest foot, and he showed it here. That is a glorious, glorious opportunity for Ryan Giggs, who has scored 6 goals already this season, and really should have made that 7. He is very relieved he didn't. Headed away by Keane. It's come straight back to him. The skipper driving on here. Oh, that's typical Keane. He wasn't going to give up on anything. In his mid-30s now, but he's as driven as ever. Huge throw by Distin, but it's gone straight to Ferdinand. Now Phil Neville. Lovely ball, Giggs to O'Shea. Cleverson's flick on, straight to Distin again. Anelka's given it away. They just can't seem to keep the ball for more than about 4 or 5 passes, City, whereas you watch United, well, it's usually in double figures, every one of their moves. Cleverson. That's a foul, I think. Somé waves his finger at the referee, but the whistle had already gone. He's not going to change his mind now. Maybe a touch harsh, but the cynics in English football will tell you that's the kind of decision that does go against you here. Ryan Giggs, Manchester United's longest serving player, will take this free kick. Coming up to 20 minutes in the Barclaycard English Premier League. This local derby sees United lead City by 1-0. Oh, it wasn't a bad ball, it was just a little too far over the head of O'Shea. David Seaman relieved, it came straight through to him. Have needed the slightest of touches, that's for sure. Seaman looking inquisitively at the turf for some reason. Steve McManaman, they've got to get him on the ball as often as they can, City. He's certainly got the ability, obviously, to unlock this United defence. They can't give it away that clumsily. Bad mistake. Stand racing back. Giggs now on his left foot. And in the end, it was Barton who came to win it back. Wright Phillips. Now McManaman for City. Sun Jihai. Over the head of Fowler. And it's all too easy at the moment for the Manchester United back four. They've hardly broken sweat here. City have suffered 3 defeats in their last 5 away games in the Premier League. Their only win in that time, 2-0 at Southampton over a month ago. Although oddly enough, they still have more points on the road than at home this season. They've won 3 times on their travels. Another excellent Manchester United build-up, but Giggs deciding instead of hitting it first time with his left, he wanted to pull it back, and there the moment was gone. Sylvestre over the head of Scholes. And Nistelrooy has been quiet so far, and that could be ominous. Manchester City have certainly managed to contain him. It's just that when you keep him quiet, there's about 10 other problems to deal with in this Manchester United team. Not for nothing are they champions. For the 8th time in the 11 seasons since the Premier League was formed. Twice runners-up. 3rd is the very lowest they've ever finished. Barton. Fowler. Onto Anelka. Neville under pressure there from Joey Barton. Spiky, competitive midfielder. Really broken through into the first team ranks this season. Strange clearance there, keeps United momentarily under pressure, but it was only momentarily. Oh, that was a bad challenge by Barton on Phil Neville. Went in with his foot really high there. Maybe a bit fortunate, the referee, in the heated atmosphere of a local derby did see that as a yellow card offence. Neville just getting on with it. Impressed to him, didn't make a meal of it. Mickey Budd, who would love to be playing in that position in midfield, who's spoken at length this week about his frustration and not getting an opportunity in the first team at United. And Nistelrooy is going to keep chasing here, but the whistle stops him in offside. As yet, it hasn't really had the fire and the passion you'd expect of a local derby. Maybe City need a bit more of that, because if you try and compete on level football in terms with Manchester United, you'll almost certainly lose. Phil Neville. Fowler. Three defenders around him, and the deflection could easily have taken that one in. That was brilliant goalkeeping. But it was a nonchalant sort of effort by Robbie Fowler. It was a lucky deflection that took the ball to him in the first place, and then an even luckier one that made a shot that was going wide suddenly dipped goalwards. Brilliant reflexes by the big American, Howard. What a very good save that was to keep Manchester United's lead intact. Sun Ji-hai. They've given it away again, City. Done winning it back now, Barton. Fowler. Good tackle by Keane. Fowler complained, but all he's going to get is a throw-in. I didn't see anything wrong with it, actually. It was from the side, it wasn't from behind. You are still allowed to tackle mercifully in English football, though some referees, I think, would seek to have even that art done away with. Barton. Sun Ji-hai makes ground on the right. McManaman in support. Oh, it wasn't a bad ball. Sinclair slipped. Cleverson. And Scholes. His goal still separates the sides here. Giggs. Well played, Phil Neville. Well played, United. Neville again. Cleverson, Scholes, Van Nistelrooy. Names just roll off the tongue as the ball is swept around with such apparent ease. Neville's cross. It was dangerous. He's there again. And Distan, who's had a bit of a nightmare start to this game, has conceded the corner. Dunn made the initial interception before that. These defenders will know they've been in a game here. Only the first corner of the game, surprisingly, to Manchester United. Barton has to mark Keane. McManaman has to guard the post. Cleverson dispossessed by Anelka. He didn't keep it for long, did he? Well, great football until that moment, anyway. Keane just got it wrong. He'd be angry about that. Wright Phillips. Keane's there again. Ferdinand leaving it to O'Shea. And the challenge by Robbie Fowler has produced the free kick and a little angry word. Well, at least that's more of what you expect in a derby match. Referee will deal with it, I'm sure, with just a word with the two rather than any cards. He's pretty sensible in that respect, Mr. Halsey. Robbie Fowler still a bit angry, I think, about that earlier challenge from O'Shea's fellow Irishman, Roy Keane. I don't know how good Mr. Halsey's scouse is, but calm down should be the instruction, really, to Robbie Fowler. And Nistelrooy does this, starts in an offside position, then moves in, sucks defenders out. Didn't really come off, did it? Cleberson. Well, if you've got to go back to keep possession, that's all right as far as United are concerned. They don't need to chase the game, City do. And remember, it's over 2 years since Manchester United took the lead in a Premier League game and lost it. Sun Jihai. The work ethic in this United team is so admirable. That's Ryan Giggs back in the left back row. Cleberson. That was a good challenge this time. And given away sloppily by Soleil. Sun Jihai. As quiet as I've seen him for a while, this Ruud van Nistelrooy. Easily beaten there by Cleberson. That will alarm Kevin Keegan somewhat. Before they started firing blanks, Manchester City had a reasonable scoring record, 22 goals this season, 11 different scorers, but now 4 full matches and half an hour of this fifth one without a goal. So that represents, well, over 6 hours of football without scoring in a league game. Sinclair, Anelka, and now Fowler. There's McManaman. That's really poor, straight to Ruud van Nistelrooy, not what you wanted to be doing. O'Shea for Manchester United. Sylvestre. Scholes in that familiar role, dropping deep to receive the ball. He's not really stuck very much to the right-hand side, where we were given to believe he would play. The system's more fluid than that. Great control by Roy Keane. Oh, and then very poor control by a Brazilian. Miracles do happen. A Brazilian World Cup winner at that, who has really settled well now in this country. Brought his family over for the festive period. His wife's just had a baby. A little Mancunian, as he described it. Keane. Gary Neville knocks it long. Away by Dunn. Phil Neville. 13 minutes to half-time at Old Trafford. Manchester United seeking their 50th league victory over Manchester City. Lead by a 0-0. Paul Scholes scored it. Sinclair. Good ball for Wright Phillips. Not a bad ball in, was it? Over everyone's heads. He's certainly got the kind of competitive spirit City will be needing here today. Shaun Wright Phillips, a big favourite for Kevin Keegan. He puts him consistently. Even though there's quite a bit of competition in midfield. The likes of Sibierski and Berkovic on the bench today. Van Nistelrooy, great hold-up play. Superb. O'Shea. Scholes. In again towards Giggs. Dunn had to win that header. Sun Jihai. Chinese international finds Barton. That could be a good ball, but Fowler was a little bit slow out the blocks. Any suspicion that he might have fouled Ferdinand. And it's broken kindly here to Paul Scholes. Now on to Giggs. Van Nistelrooy in the middle! That's all he needed. He might have been quiet by his own standards. It didn't mean he wasn't going to get a goal, and he has. His 16th of a remarkable season, and Dunn, like so many other defenders before him, can only curse that he's made an error which has led to another Van Nistelrooy goal. There didn't seem any immediate danger, but when United break like that, they do so with devastating pace and accuracy. That's a great header. He's now scored 96 goals in 124 matches for Manchester United, 60 in 82 in the Premier League. Unbelievable statistics, they really are. Well, I said Manchester United hardly ever lose when they go 1-up in a game. I'm not sure even the record books could tell you when they last went 2-up in a match and lost it. We didn't have record books in those days. So Manchester City's job now is not impossible, but pretty close to it, even though there's still 10 minutes to go in the first half. Can still rescue it. 3 points. Well, there would be a brave and optimistic City fan that might suggest that that was a possibility still. And if you offer them a draw at this moment in time, they would certainly take it. If you offer them a goal, they'd take it. Here's Giggs. And a role to play in both the United goals. And when you think about it, he could have scored one himself earlier as well. Dunn's error in midfield led to it. But really, there should have been more cover on for Manchester City. Clearance by Wright Phillips. Well, he's been one of the few rays of hope, really, for Manchester City in this very disappointing first half. David Seaman beaten twice. One by an old international colleague, one by an old international foe. And by the way, United haven't lost in the last 41 Premier League games that Ruud van Nistelrooy has scored in. I know you can make statistics tell just about any story you like, but those statistics really don't lie. Cleverson. And Nistelrooy will keep pursuing this, he never gives up. Cleverson wins it back. Oh, that was a bit of a late challenge, and Barton has done that twice now. He's got to be very careful. It was silly. Frustration getting the better of him. And if he escapes another yellow card, he's a lucky young man. Ball and well gone, no excuse for that. So late he was in the next game. Can't do that, I'm afraid, no matter how annoyed he is at the way this game is going. Got to be a caution, surely. For the England under-21 international, who's seen rather too many of them in his brief career. Something that Kevin Keegan and Derek Fazackley, his number two, have been forcibly pointing out to him. Can't go around doing things like that and getting needlessly cautioned and giving away free kicks. Consummate first half performance so far by Manchester United. They did this last week against Aston Villa, of course. In fact, they've done it several times this season. I remember being here a couple of weeks earlier when they played Blackburn and played brilliantly in the first half and let it slip a little bit in the second. Well, they didn't lose either of those games. It ought to be pointed out. They won them both. Another flowing move here. Possible offside. Van Nistelrooy allowed to go on. And I suppose if there's a tiny glimmer of hope for City, it might be in the fact that if Manchester United feel the game is almost won, they do tend to take their foot off the pedal a little bit in the second half. But whether you can actually take advantage of that is another matter. Aston Villa had the lion's share of possession here after half-time a week ago and ended up conceding 2 late goals and losing 4-0. That's the problem with United. However you try to beat them, it usually ends in failure. Barton. McManaman. Fowler. Powell. Pardon the pun. Looks like Rio Ferdinand's got a bit of an injury problem here. Maybe a calf, from the way he's been holding the back of his leg. So Manchester United might be forced to make a change here. Quinton Fortune warming up. What they would do, presumably, would be to move John O'Shea into the middle of the defence and put Fortune at left back. This free kick, 5 minutes before half-time, 30 yards from goal. And how City need something to happen here. Apart from their obvious attacking qualities, it ought to be pointed out that Manchester United have the best defensive record in the Premier League as well. They've only conceded, I should say, 9 in 15 games, and they've kept 8 clean sheets. Anelka sees his shot easily blocked. And suddenly, defence turns into attack. Van Nistelrooy. McManaman did well. Not a part of his game you always notice, tracking back like that, but kept going then. Wasteful free kick really by the French star. Leverson. Barton. That's good play. Sun Jihai. Now Wright Phillips. The very presence of Keane was enough to put him off his stride then. Lovely ball from Scholes to Giggs. But better defending this time by Dunn. And quick feet from Anelka keeps possession. Wright Phillips. Sun Jihai delivers it long for Anelka. Well, really, in terms of possession and goal threat, it's been an embarrassingly one-sided first half here at Old Trafford. City have made no sort of impact whatsoever. Difficult to know what Kevin Keegan might do. He's kept the same personnel that have by and large played in recent weeks and got them nowhere. Would he change it at half-time? As he threatened to change it before the kick-off today, but then went back on that. Wright Phillips, Sun Jihai overlapping. He's not going to bother Manchester United's defence with that kind of cross. In fact, the only moment really of concern the Kevin Keegan's team have mounted to Manchester United was when Fowler's shot was deflected towards goal, and then Tim Howard produced a brilliant save. Offside here, Van Nistelrooy. Just as well for City. Steve McManaman. Sané back to David Seaman, who looked a bit uncomfortable when he received that ball. Barton. Here's Sun Jihai. Wright Phillips. Can City get a throw as we move into the final minute of the first half of this 129th League derby. Manchester United lead Manchester City 2-0. Here in the Barclaycard English Premier League. It's time for City. Can they get something back just before the interval? Right, Phillips with the shot. It wasn't bad, but it was brilliantly held. Those are so easy to spill out. And had Howard not had such a safe pair of hands here, Anelka was waiting to pounce. Struck it into the ground, which made it even harder, but Howard must save hundreds of them in training every week. Well, whatever Ferdinand's problem was, obviously they're going to wait until the half-time interval to have another look at it. The Jiri, that is. He's staying out there now. There's only a minute of stoppage time. Wright Phillips, foul. Well, that minute might just provide some hope to Manchester City if they can get something out of this free kick. He's been their best player, Wright Phillips. Well, I've seen Robbie Fowler go for goal before from this kind of angle and range. Be some shot to beat Howard. And in the end, it was Neville who got it clear. And there's the half-time whistle.
This must be incredibly painful for City fans as they are getting completely schooled by United. It's royalty, the King, Ruud van Nistelrooy, and the Ginger Prince. United 2, City 0. We'll be right back. Taking care of Stuttgart on Tuesday, managed to rest some players as we go to the fixtures, and Man United go to Tottenham, site of an incredible comeback a few seasons ago, 3-0 down at half-time. They ended up winning it 5-3. On Boxing Day they host Everton before travelling up to the Riverside and Borough, which should be an interesting fixture. The student against the master, McLaren against Sir Alex Ferguson. For Manchester City, they welcome Leeds United. On Boxing Day they travel to St Andrews, and on the 28th, host Liverpool. And that'll be a nice reunion for Steve McManaman and Robbie Fowler. David Seaman, smile on his face, nice to see. But 2 goals down, he'll want to keep a clean sheet in this second half. Well, I think for City, all they've got to do is show some passion. Start getting stuck in. Let's get a full-blooded derby game. Get the crowd involved. Get the tackles flying. Get the tempers going. And maybe rattle United, put them off their stride. And if they can get an early goal, who knows, maybe they can get back into this game. Last season they took 4 points out of a possible 6, but this time around they're missing the GOAT, Sean Gota, who scored 3 goals in the 2 games. Let's rejoin Alan Parry.
Sky Blue by 2 goals to 0. Incidentally, in the other game today, which kicked off about half an hour before this one, it is now Leicester City 0, Birmingham City 2. Miguel Forcell has scored a 2nd goal there for Birmingham, and Leicester have had 2 players sent off, including their goalkeeper Ian Walker and central defender Matt Elliott. Leicester 0, Birmingham 2. That's the latest. Here at the start of the second half, 2-0 to Manchester United, who, since they lost here against Fulham in the Premier League, have won 5 matches in a row at Old Trafford. Portsmouth, Blackburn and Aston Villa in league games, Stuttgart and Glasgow Rangers in the Champions League. And it would be a brave man who'd bet against them, making it 6 in a row here now. No changes made by our manager during the half-time interval, but certainly from City's point of view, they've got to change something, because they really didn't provide a threat to United in the first 45 minutes. There was only one moment when Tim Howard was concerned, and that was a deflected Robbie Fowler shot that was certainly dropping in until he acrobatically tipped it over the bar for a corner. There's O'Shea. Manchester United have enjoyed almost unchallenged domination of the football, but at that moment Phil Neville got caught. Anelka. Use their width a little bit more, City. And this stand doing just that. And then a poor cross, which exemplifies what's been happening for them today. So difficult to know what to do now, though, from City's point of view. If you come at United, they'll pick you off on the counter-attack. If you sit back, they'll probably score against you anyway. And at 2-0 down, of course, City don't have the option of sitting back. They've won 3 away games in the Premier League. City, Charlton, Blackburn and Southampton. They drew at Fulham and Everton and lost the matches at Wolves, Chelsea and Newcastle. It's their recent record that is of real concern, and there's now stretched to 4.5 matches and still counting since they scored a goal in the Premier League. And they won't break that record with distribution like that. Very untidy. Roy Keane for Manchester United, who are virtually strolling at the moment. It's too easy to pick out their men. City need to be a little more determined in pressing them. O'Shea. It's it back then from Ryan Giggs. It's almost like a left winger himself, O'Shea. He can play in a variety of positions. Centre-back's his favourite, but he can play right back, left midfield, right midfield, middle of midfield. But the only place he hasn't played yet is in goal for United. He's going to be a real star of the future, this young man. Here he is again. Very affable Irishman too. And he's won a free kick. And wherever he plays, I think Sir Alex will find a place for him somewhere in United's future. Similar story with Wes Brown, who, as we told you in the first half, is close to a return again after so many injuries. Gives his free kick. 2 City players go for the same ball, but they got away with it. Then an embarrassing missed kick by Cleverson, and it's come back to Ruud van Nistelrooy, but he's offside. To City's relief. Not the man you want the ball to drop to in the penalty area. I think you'll see here. Yep. It hasn't gone through yet. It has now. Yep. Good decision by the linesman. Does live on the edge, so to speak. Van Nistelrooy plays off the shoulder of the last defender so often, gets caught out a lot. And when he doesn't get caught out and he's away, well, you can expect a goal. Here's Barton, the only player cautioned yet. And that's unusual, isn't it, in a local derby? Sunji High to Wright Phillips, City's best player in that first half. Sunji High again. Just can't get the ball in from these wide positions, City. They actually led the table briefly back in August, Manchester City. It was their highest league position for 12 years. But their recent form has been very disturbing. had settled just for a goal, City. Probably forgotten how to celebrate one. Fowler going for it here. Pakistan. McManaman. Yet to score for his new club, Steve McManaman. Still being booed by those who remember his Liverpool connections, even though they were 4 long years ago. Wright Phillips. Sun Jihad. This is a little better from City. Fowler. Came off the shoulder of the United defender for a corner. Which McManaman takes. Hesitation there for once by Manchester United's defenders. And a rare little period of activity inside the United half. Wright Phillips. He's only got plenty of targets. Very clever. Very clever. Oh, he's done brilliantly! What a wonderful goal by Wright Phillips! Oh! Top draw! Well, that's one of the most unusual goals I've seen this season. And he's always looked the man most likely to get City back into this. Shaun Wright Phillips. Well, this is virtually unstoppable. First of all, a little nutmeg there on Scholes. Then he drifted wide of the next 2 defenders and somehow pulled his shot back from that difficult angle to find the net. That's his 6th goal of the season. Only Nicola Anelka has scored more for Manchester City. Well, that one, if you pardon the pun, is right out of the sky blue, because there'd been no indication of Manchester City suddenly doing anything like that. And at long last, their wait for a goal in the Premier League is over. It has lasted something like, well, very nearly 7 hours. Amazing. Over 4.5 games. Suddenly, maybe, we've got a game on here. Well, Kevin Keegan's teams of old have always been renowned for their ability to get goals. It's such an unusual spell they've been going through, City. And now they have conjured one up from nowhere. And the champions have been rattled. Only the 10th goal they've conceded in 16 games this season. And no team has scored more than them either. But on 31 now. Here's Robbie Fowler for Manchester City. Well, isn't it amazing? It's as though someone has flicked a switch and Manchester United are looking nervy. I did say earlier that something very similar happened in the first half against Villa, where they dominated, and then after the interval didn't look anything like as good. Similarly with Blackburn, as Wright Phillips gets a good cross in. City are starting to believe. Sinclair. Goal kick. But a remarkable transformation here, thanks to a remarkable goal from a young man whose stepfather, of course, was famous for scoring goals, Ian Wright. He'd have been proud of that. Superb finish by the youngster, who's now played over 100 games for Manchester City. He was released by a couple of clubs early on in his career. City picked him up and he's gone on to play for the England under-21 team. He looks a real prospect. Well, just when you think it's easy, it suddenly becomes the opposite. 71% of possession belongs to City over the last 5 minutes. But here's Van Nistelrooy. Oh dear, it's not like him. And City's improvement could have been ended in one instant. A mistake by Sommet. And it fell perfectly for Van Nistelrooy. What was he thinking of? Will that come back to haunt United, I wonder? And if they have got a problem with Ferdinand's fitness now, possibly Sir Alex will regard this as the right time to make a change, because suddenly they can't afford to carry a passenger anymore, and Sinclair tried to expose United's defence again, but was offside. Oh, what a kick that is! It's almost straight through to Van Nistelrooy. Dunn laboured somewhat to get there. Remember, City took 4 points off United last season. 3-1 win, Main Road. 1-1 draw with a late Sean go to goal here. And Scholes used his arm there, and I think it was Barton, the injured, as it's played on by Fowler, and that's an excellent ball. The goalkeeper had to improvise and did so, and it's been headed back over his head, but he just about got back in time, Howard, and Fowler knows that maybe more could have resulted from this. It's his great ball there, and Howard half cleared it. It came straight back to Robbie Fowler. It was a long, long way out, but it was an open goal. Barton still unhappy about the challenge moments earlier from Scholes. Here's Phil Neville. Over Gary. Cleverson. And now Keane. Captain in possession again. Gary Neville. Van Nistelrooy's flick, and Giggs stealing in round the back. Well, it was a mistake by David Seaman, and he's very lucky it didn't cost the goal. Very lucky. Remember, he missed 3 games with that rib problem, came back prematurely against Everton, had to go off again in that game, and he was all over the place here. That was a pretty straightforward collection, you would have thought, for a goalkeeper of his standing. Missed it, and Giggs very close to turning it in. Later on, America finding Fowler. City have come out with a lot more life than they showed in the first 45. Keane. Oh, brilliant. Scholes. Cleverson. Clearance, straight back in by Giggs. Sporty now, David Seaman, and the suspicion remains that he's gone past his best. It wasn't the best clearance from him. Now, this was the incident with Barton here. Watch for the left arm of Paul Scholes. And look at the position of the referee. He couldn't have had a better view. And Barton's been cautioned himself for a silly challenge. I think Scholes is lucky not to have joined him in the book for that. Here he is, though. United not flowing quite as menacingly as they were in the first half. It's still a threat. Giggs. And still Ryan Giggs. Was he being pulled back there by Sun Jihai? He was. It's going to be a yellow card. The second Manchester City player cautioned by Mr. Halsey today, following Joey Barton. An hour gone at Old Trafford in the Barclaycard English Premier League. Manchester United 2, Manchester City 1, City joining a very elite group of teams who've scored here at Old Trafford in the league this season. Fulham and Blackburn, the only other two. Sylvester trying to lose his marker. referee's seen a bit of jostling that he doesn't like. He'll try and sort that out before the free kick's taken. I don't honestly know why they bother referees, because this always goes on. Just let them get on with it. Giggs, great ball. Good defending by Richard Dunn. They've got to cling on here, City. They don't want to spoil what's been a big improvement for them. Keane. Oh, Barton with a complete missed kick. Scholes quite happy to take the corner. Literally, by the looks of it. And watched closely again by Joey Barton. It's rolled back into Giggs. Scholes, a wonderful ball in. So unlucky, Van Nistelrooy. Almost undefendable, this little ball from Paul Scholes. Whipped it in there. Almost curling away from defender and goalkeepers. Joey Barton. Dwight Phillips loses out for once. His goal, his remarkable goal, has really brought City back into this game. There's a lot more commitment and confidence now from Manchester City. And Dwight Phillips has won it back off O'Shea. Barton. And he's there again. Distin. It's a very poor cross by a player of his ability. Far too easy for Howard to collect. As Roy Keane goes looking for the ball again. Sun Jihai. We did have a European game, of course, in midweek. Manchester United, whilst City are on their training ground. No competitive match for them. And that could make a difference. Certainly City have come out the fresher of the two teams in this second half. Two United players, Scholes and Van Nistelrooy, went for the same ball then. Not like them. As you'd expect, United have got a fantastic record at Old Trafford. They've won 20 of their last 24 games here in the Premier League. Just one defeat in that period. That was the 3-1 reverse here against Fulham a few weeks ago. Seven wins out of 9 in the Premier League, home and away. Gary Neville's clearance. Straight to Barton. Sun Jihai. Can Manchester City Snipes take what would be here a very unlikely point? Certainly enough time anyway, with 25 minutes and just over remaining. No reason why they can't believe they could take all three. Challenge there by Dunn. Stancy's whistle has gone. Manchester United free kick. 6 of their 8 matches here at Old Trafford in the league this season. 1 draw, 1 defeat. Fowler just caught in possession. Doesn't look too sharp today, Robbie Fowler. Just had his foot in a little bit on that challenge as well. He's been involved in 1 or 2 incidents like that. The referee might lose patience with him if he's not careful. Defenders hate that when they play the ball down the line, as Sylvestre did then, and the forward just slides in and catches them. Cleverson, he's been quiet today, actually started very brightly. Haven't seen too much of him. It is again, and that's better from the Brazilian. Keane takes over and loses out to Sinclair. Now Anelka. Both Anelka and Fowler have been quiet so far, and I remember saying that about Ruud van Nistelrooy in the first half, and the United striker came up with a goal. And they fashion one between them to get City level here. Huge throw, picked on by Sinclair. Clearances by Gary Neville. Just about 3/4 of the way through. Manchester City throw. Keane is furious, feeling he was fouled there by Sinclair. A bit of nonsense between those two as Anelka wins it right. Phillips! I would say heading is not the strongest point. He is one of the smallest players in the Premier League. He's only 5'4", Sean Wright Phillips, so that would have been stretching the imagination to imagine him scoring with a header from that range. Wright Phillips' goal has certainly made this second half more interesting, more watchable from a neutral's point of view. Manchester United looking to go back top of the table, remember. Chelsea play later today against Bolton Wanderers. They have a one-point lead at the moment over the champions. O'Shea's clearance. And the whistle's finally gone for a foul against Phil Neville. And Roy Keane, spiky as ever, still involved, still calling the shots. Manchester United do need a win to replace Chelsea, albeit for a couple of hours, as Premier League leaders. Clearance by Rio Ferdinand, who's obviously recovered from that problem he had. Strange one from Keane, who's just beginning to lose his temper a little bit, and he can get dangerous when he's in that mood. Stripping over to his embarrassment at Manchester City. Win it back with Dunn, an Irish international, finding the goal scorer Wright Phillips. Who's there again to deny O'Shea the room in which to move. Final score for you from the Walker Stadium, where it finished Leicester City 0, Birmingham City 2. Birmingham go on to 23 points, and that lifts them above Liverpool into 5th place in the Premier League table, at the moment anyway, with a lot more matches to come over the weekend, of course. Clinton Morrison and Mikel Forsell were the goal scorers for Birmingham. Leicester City had goalkeeper Ian Walker and central defender Matt Elliott, both sent off by referee Mike Riley in that game. And they had to play a fair old period in the second half with only 9 men. Under 20 minutes remaining at Old Trafford. And Manchester City build on their improvement here with another goal. Barton's free kick, it's not bad. Well, it was there to be hit, but United slow to react. McManaman for Manchester City. Van Nistelrooy with a great little cushion header for Giggs. Keane. Sensible ball. Gary Neville. So was that to Cleberson. Good turn by the Brazilian Cleberson. Bill Neville. Here's Giggs. Scholes. Van Nistelrooy against the post and out. City are riding their luck and they're getting away with it at the moment. Van Nistelrooy could have had another hat-trick here today. Cleberson. Scholes! You just can't give them that number of opportunities and expect to keep getting away with it. And Manchester City go 3-1 down. Paul Scholes' second brilliant header in this game. Having just hit the post through Van Nistelrooy, Manchester United got on with the business. Welcome back, Paul Scholes. And it is a truly warm welcome back from his adoring fans here. 7 weeks he was out, and they certainly missed him. He's always one of the first names on the score sheet and always one of the first names on the team sheet. Cleberson is about to be replaced, as it looks now as though Manchester United have got a winning lead. Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese superstar, on in his place. Paul Scholes' 5th goal of the season, and Manchester United have got their 2-goal lead back. And although they've been below their standard really in their second half, you couldn't possibly argue that United deserve anything other than a victory here. There are few better players anywhere in Europe, or indeed in world football, at scoring goals from a deeper role that Paul Scholes plays. He knows all about that. David Seaman played alongside him so many times for England. There was nothing he could do about Scholes' goal, or indeed about that ball from Van Nistelrooy that came back off the post. From the resulting throw-in, it was swept in, and David Seaman was beaten again. Ronaldo's given it away in that rather extravagant style of his. Phillips goes going in again. I understand his anger and frustration because he has worked his socks off today. I'm not even convinced you can say that about everyone in the blue of Manchester City. Into the final quarter of an hour, having beaten Manchester United 3-1 last season, they're now on the end of a 3-1 scoreline themselves. A wrong get. O'Shea wins it back. Wright Phillips. Remember, Manchester United came on very strong here a week ago against Aston Villa with 2 goals in the last few minutes on the substitute Diego Forlan. Here's today's substitute, Cristiano Ronaldo. Whoops. But he doesn't deserve... Oh no, I can't believe the referee's given a free kick. And he slipped over, and ran into the City defender. What on earth did this down me wrong there? It was a hometown decision. Shapes to take it, Giggs does. Ooh, that was close. Well, I believe it should be a corner. We had the benefit of the decision on the free kick. They're not going to get the benefit this time. A little bit of rough justice there from my point of view. I don't know, did he touch it before it went out? Hard to say. Manaman. Here's Barton. Now Sun Jihai. It's a useful ball in. Ferdinand header away. Cristiano Ronaldo has given it away, and it should have been 3-2. How did Anelka miss that? How did Howard Savic come to that? Well, there's proof. But Cristiano Ronaldo may be an incredibly gifted player, but you don't want him back in his own penalty area, obviously. What on earth was he doing here? Should have scored Anelka. Barton goes in strongly. And United survive again. It should have been a nervy ending in store for the champions. Could be yet, of course. But if it had been 3-2 with what, still 12 minutes remaining, who knows? And Nistelrooy. Oh, brilliant. And then gives it away. Anelka's had a day to forget. United set to go back to the top of the Premiership table, a point ahead of Chelsea for at least a couple of hours. Steve McManaman for Manchester City. Can they still change that scoreline? Nowhere to go really for Sun Jihai. This time helps him out. And the skipper takes on Giggs. Good luck. Great little tackle by Giggs. Nistelrooy. Oh, well played, Wright Phillips. He's tried his luck again. Well, he can go back into the dressing rooms with pride anyway, Sean Wright Phillips. I really think he's been City's outstanding player on a day when so many of their better-known stars have not performed. Great turn there by Giggs. It's been a very disappointing few weeks, of course, for Manchester City. They were back in Europe for the first time in 24 years, but then that ended in a humiliating defeat against Groslin, Polish team. But out of the Carling Cup as well. They lost at Tottenham in that competition. And they're sliding down the league table as with 10 minutes to go. Kevin Keegan makes a change. Paulo Wanchope is coming on for Trevor Sinclair, the Costa Rican international. control. He was unlucky to slip. And Nistelrooy, excellent. And now he's giving it away. McManaman. Straight into the action is the blue man, and that's a pretty poor first effort. Before Wright Phillips scored here, he was the last Manchester City player to get a goal in the Premiership in a match at Southampton. Bad day at the office for Kevin Keegan. His 100th league match in charge of Manchester City seems destined now to end in defeat. It's the one match they don't want to lose. 10-8 in terms of goal attempts, with Manchester City surprisingly having more on target. David Seaman nervously hacks it away as Van Nistelrooy closed him down. And United close to the 50th victory over Manchester City in their league history. Importantly, here and now, today, they're close to going top of the table. And with what seems to be developing into a three-horse race in the Premier League this season, every point is crucial. Chelsea at home to Bolton. And then tomorrow, Arsenal at home to Blackburn. Here's Steve McManaman. Good strike, excellent save. This fella is top draw, because it's been one of those days when Howard hasn't had much to do, but virtually everything he has had to do, he's done brilliantly. And that is always the hallmark of a top-rate goalkeeper. Kept his concentration, and his technique has been superb. Mind you, even I could have saved that one. Best save was definitely the one from Fowler in the first half when it deflected and was dropping over his head and going in. Wonderful agility to turn that one over. There's Barton for Manchester City. Suspicion now they're really just going through the motions here. Immediate cause for concern. Manchester City did start the day midway in the Premier League table, but there's a large group of clubs just below them and only a couple of points or so below them. So if they're not careful and this one continues, they could get sucked into trouble. There's no doubt about that. Wright Phillips. Now Sun Ji-hai. Fowler's header. Harmless. Just to underline the point I was making about Manchester City, Aston Villa, who are currently in the bottom three, are only 5 points behind Manchester City today. If City lose here, and Villa to win, that's only 2 points, and then suddenly that's nervous time, without doubt. And some big games coming up with this busy holiday period. Manchester City need to get back to winning ways and need to do it quickly. Ryan Giggs, Van Nistelrooy. Scholes is on a hat-trick. Van Nistelrooy couldn't quite reach the loose ball. Gary Neville. Incidentally, City's next game after today is at home to Leeds United, who of course are only one place off the bottom. That's suddenly becoming a really important fixture as David Seaman did well there to keep out his goal shot. He's here again! Oh, he's still looking for that third that will complete his hat-trick. Sun Ji-hai denies him this time. right to the end here, in front of another massive Old Trafford crowd of over 67,000. United look as though they could get goals. Leading scorers in the Premier League, remember, with 32 goals, and they've also got the best defensive record, only 10 against. Those are figures that add up to only one thing if they can maintain it in the second half of the season, and that is the retention of their championship. Arsenal and Chelsea fans will argue the point about that, but United are still the team to beat. There's Ronaldo, sudden change of pace by him. Scholes. And back by Sun Ji-hai to City. Over the head of Paulo Wanchope. And Keane, who's had a superb game, gets it back to Howard, who's also been excellent. Giggs. Away by Dunn for a throw. Sir Alex Ferguson, who took over 17 years ago last month, looks as though he's going to end up in a very familiar position at the end of the match here today, and that is top of the Premier League table. He's won more trophies than any manager in the history of English football. And Manchester City's long wait for a victory at Old Trafford is going to have to wait even longer. It'll now be 30 years since they came here and won. And chops back here to Barton. That's a foul, isn't it? Phil Neville claiming he won the ball, but I don't think so. Be too much harm with 2 minutes to go, but you never do know. And they took the free kick so quickly they caught themselves by surprise, Manchester City. Wanchope up against O'Shea. Van Nistelrooy, wouldn't it be typical of Manchester United to go and break and get out of the goal now? Here's Wright Phillips. Step over that Ronaldo would have been pleased with. O'Shea is not pleased at the decision to award a corner. Manchester City have had more corners than the home team. Across, oh, and that's off the line, or was it? They all look at the linesman, and would you believe it, Paul Scholes, who's been such a threat at one end of the field today, has made a goal line clearance at his own end. That's amazing. Dunn's downward header, and Nelke helped it on. Ooh, close, wasn't it? But the whole of the ball has to be over the line. And the linesman decided it wasn't, and I think he's probably right. Well, that might just clinch the Man of the Match award for Paul Scholes, I suspect. Goal scorer turned goal saver. Into stoppage time, and there's only around 60 seconds of that. The Manchester City fans managed to find their voices with their famous Blue Moon song, but I know it's not going to be in celebration of a victory. And the first Manchester derby of the season has gone United's way. Well, at least if there's some consolation for Manchester City, they've ended their dreadful run of games without scoring. Gihai in strongly. And Mike Phillips took a wild swipe at that ball. But it's all over at Old Trafford for the 50th.
Despite City getting the early goal in the second half that we spoke about, Paul Scholes comes back with his second of the game. United get the 3 points and they go to the top of the table. Very entertaining second half though. Keegan must have stirred the troops in the dressing room because City came out with a lot more vengeance. But at the end of the day, United have more than enough in the tank. Paul Scholes could have had a hat-trick, except for a fantastic save by David Seaman, pushing it round onto the post. But from the resulting throw-in, Cleberson a lovely first-time ball, and Scholes ghosting in, much like his first goal, rises like a salmon, slams it in the back of the net, and that was all she wrote. And then one dramatic goal line clearance, and Manchester City go back to the City of Manchester Stadium, pointless. United get the 3. It finishes up United 3, City 1. Stick around, we'll be right